Maybe. So Dr. Surya Prakash Rao, sir, he is a senior intervention cardiologist at Care Hospital, Banjara Hills, Hyderabad, and he's a master CTO operator. And today we'll be learning a lot from him. So we can go ahead with sir's presentation for today. He'll be presenting few cases. I'm laying more stress on cases because that is what demand has come. That we'll learn more from him and his cases. Ritesh, can you help Dr. Rao for presentation?
I will manage. I'm audible?
Yes, sir. And slides are also visible.
Good evening, my teachers and my colleagues. Instead of calling as a master class or anything, I will say when talking to my masters, it's an interaction rather than some teaching session. So, you know, retrograde PCI, CTO PCI hasn't picked up initial stages in 2012, something like that. It seemed that we will change to retrograde the CTO PCI most of the complex cases. But the Gaia changed the practice for a more anti-grade robust approaches. So again, there is a fall in the retrograde, but still in a high JCTO score patients, particularly retrograde PCI. So a operator who wants to do a CTO PCI should definitely learn and practice the retrograde CTO PCI, which is then only he can be a complete operator. So today I'll be stressing the basics a little bit, then intermittently I'll put some cases what we have done. Maybe started my CTO PCI around 2006 and what's the first workshop done with Dr. Saito. Then it's a journey of around 16 years. And almost at my personal level, I completed around 1400 difficult complex CTO PCA in different centers as a proctor and in my center also. Not only me, one or two members of my team also do good PCA in CTO. So basic thing is, as you know, is a hybrid CTO PCA of the Epi CTO club, where you have to do a dual injection. This is a must for a learner. I'm keeping the view, some fellows watching this program who want to learn the CTO retrograde, and already people who have started doing, and so some higher up work doing people. So there are three categories. So dual injection is a must. Thus we have to look for the cap, a proximal, a distal cap, a good target, and interventional collaterals. These are the things. As we go on, we will see which case we do antigrade and retrograde. But basically, if you have an ambiguous cap, a poor distal target, good interventional collaterals, major side branch at distal cap, then we go for retrograde. That's why we will now concentrate on the retrograde CTO PCI. First of all, you have to see the JCTO score, very important. Even though many of the items in the JCTO score are not included, in my practice, when we are forming a global consensus along with Dr. Bilakis and Dr. Suchikeni, myself and some other people, we have written a paper and recently circulation, and it comes in the JOC next month also, that many of the things like a comorbidity issues, post-CABG issues, certain things which will affect your CTO PCI outcomes are not added in the JCTO score. Still, this score is reasonably very good as far as your success rate, because your wire cross should be at 30 minutes, then only success will increase. So as you know, the cap is a blunt cap, and the calcification, whatever in the CTO segment, not beyond the CTO segment, and the bending within the CTO segment, again, the occlusion length of more than 20. So, and a retry, and most of the cases for a CTO operator, if you are a dedicated CTO center, they come with a retry. either once or twice. So these things we have to take care, then assess your outcomes. As CT angio, so we do in most of the retry cases, the long segment caps with things for a better outcomes. Why we prefer the retrograde? Because the retrograde, as you know, the morphology, the pathological tissue at the distal cap is easy to penetrate than the proximal cap. That's the most favorable reason why we go retrograde. So, as I said, the success rate has increased in most of the centers previously in Japanese, but even in Indian operators, most of the people touched with all the techniques and the hardware and devices. We are touching nearly 85 to 90% success rate. And main advantage is that length of the lesion, the tortuosity, the calcification, the side branches may not affect the outcomes in a retrograde PCA. That is the advantage. So the basic thing, sometimes we have to go for a primary retrograde approach. Proximal gap, complete ambiguity. Some of the cases we try, and even in the IVUS also, we cannot properly see the cap, and puncture of the IVUS also difficult. Even the CT scan also is a blind end, and it's a very difficult thing. And a very large RCA with the distal bifurcation or the LAD diagonal, very big branches bifurcation, and a diffusely distal vessel diseased. And most important thing is the flush ioto-osteal occlusion. This here, particularly just now, Dr. Mirajirao discussed that metal jacket-like thing, a CTO from the ostium, and there's no way you can cross these lesions unless you have a good retrograde collateral entering, and we have to snare it out from the stents from the ostium. And here the CT also, MSCT also plays a key role. So what we decide once you go for retrograde, is they select the collateral. Very important. I will show how we select the dual angiogram, how we select the collateral. And the next step is to reach the collateral, how you reach the collateral. Then how to cross the collateral and confirm the guide wire position, microcatheter along with the guide wire, and cross the CTO with the wire, then the microcatheter and externalization, and after externalization, the approach via that long wire you are ballooning and stenting. This is a simple approach to the CTO. So basically, you should have a toolbox whenever you do in your lab or you do outside. What you should have is a basically you can do radial procedures, no doubt. But I do radial approach only a simple CTOs of a short segment CTOs with good retrograde collaterals and not complex CTOs in radial approach. The French people attempt to buy radial approach. I've seen many of them, but it's a lot of radiation access and it takes so a lot of time. So still, I believe you got the angiosync and all, even without manual pressure also you can do. 7 French systems are very easy to use and it's comfortable from the femoral approach. And even you give a contralateral injection for antegrade approach, I use the femoral in this, even though ours is a dedicated radial center, this particular procedure always be comfortable with a femoral approach. And the support catheters I was should have in the cath lab, and support catheters previously only Corsair is there. Nowadays we got Corwell, there's another Corsair Pro, and some of the cases fine channel, it's not a very tough case, you can use fine plus cost effective way. And most of us use the Guidezilla or Guideliner. There are many companies having now Guide Plus and so many have come up. But the wires are out of all the wires, the retrograde approach needs a cyan group of wires like a cyan blue, cyan black, and Suyo 03. These are the wires to cross the collaterals. And sometimes the fielder XTR, when there is invisible collaterals, fielder XTR also very useful. But the penetration is just like antegrade and retrograde. Gaia 2 is one very good wire. And if he fails, Gaia 3 or the Conquest Pro, either 12 to 8 to 12 or 12 to 20, up to you can go. The exchange wire long length RG3 should be there for any retrograde procedure. Some people use the FC wire also, 300 length. So these are the must before you should check for the retrograde procedure. And a low profile balloons as an antegrade or retrograde, you have to have these low profile balloons And the trapping balloons, they are specialized, customized trapping balloons are available now. And as you know, coils and snares are must to maintain to manage the complications, because we out of many cases hardly have sent any case for surgery, because most of the cases we can manage on the table with the pericardiocentesis or the coils or snares. We can manage most of things. And most important thing is ACT monitoring. This where we get in a center, we are not accustomed to operate in those, not proper ACT monitoring. There the problem is really serious. Thrombosis of the entire system when you are giving a donor artery can be catastrophic. So I was definitely plays a role there in the OCT in the retrograde PCI. So what you see with the angiogram is a, I will show you. Um, the jewel injection is very important in planning your procedure in a retrograde PCI. Now, this is a caudal view. You see the both caudal and the cranial views. So, in the what we have seen in caudal, the exit and entry points of the septal collaters are seen better in the caudal views. Particularly, the exit points are seen in the caudal views, and the length of the lesion, the calcification, the bends, the proximal and distal cap. So these are the and bifurcation points, distal bifurcation points. Then only you have to choose your hardware, your strategy for the case. So whenever you do this injection, ask the technician not to make a move of the table panning, and you do it lower frame, 7.5 frame. Good prolonged cine should be done. And we advise less radiation in all CTOPCA, but except this point, when initial stage, if you do a very good prolonged cine, then you can keep it as a memory, and you can a roadmap and continue the procedure. That's why a dual injection is a must for any CTOPCA, particularly for the retrograde PCA. So as you see, the proximal cap we have seen, and the CTO length, I said, more than 20, particularly for the ADR cases and all, this is very important. And good interventional collaterals, if you don't have ADR, you can go for a retrograde. Side branch, as I discussed, at the distal cap, and landing zone is very important. This is very important for the collaterals. So most important thing is reading the interventional collaterals. Now we have got a score also. Previously, it is not there. In a practical, real practical, when doing the case, how far we really implement this score, I don't know. But this score in a difficult case is very useful. Is measure the size of the vessel, the bend, how much angle the bend in the collateral, and the continuity of the bends, more than 3 or less than 3, or corkscrew. These are the things which you, the score is 0, it is easy, intermediate 1 to 2, and difficult more than 3. So this definitely gives you an idea about your success rate in a retrograde PCI. This score now in difficult cases, we follow this for giving how much the success you can have in this particular case. So what is the ideal collateral axis? You should locate the collateral, location of the collateral, the septal collateral or epicardial collateral. You see, most of us prefer septal collateral, unless in a very difficult case with the last option, I prefer the epicardial collateral, just because it is a very large, 2 millimeter large size, and it's very easy to cross and do finish. No, don't get attracted by that. If you have any perforation, it's very, very risky to manage the tamponade. But as a last resort, as we want success, we do the epicardial collateral. The right view to locate is also very important, whether you do from PDA to septal, LAD septal, or LAD septal to the PDA, and a rotational view. Sometimes you don't want, you are not, radiation is not a big issue. You can make a rotational view to see the collateral, how it's the exit entry point joining, and always give a selective injection. This is very useful. How to minimize contrast is just pass the support catheter, Corsair or Calver or anything fine course into the collateral and give a off-CC, aspirate first, then give the injection. So these are the, venous classification and all. If the visible collateral is easy, Invisible collateral, you do surfing. What is called surfing? Just push the wind out. It's not a safe procedure done by the French people, particularly. But a good septal first collateral usually is easy to cross, or second collateral. Don't go down too much, then you are in trouble. So then these are the collaterals. What like this septal collaterals. You can see here the out of the many collaterals here, you see the first septal collateral has branching. So many branches coming. So what there's a origin stenosis also in this. So important to see, observe these origin stenosis. Where there any stent at the proximal end, you have to go to the stats. When you want to go to the stats, then you have to dilate the stats with a 1.5 millimeter balloon, low profile balloons, and the branching of the collateral you can see here. No, so this is a selective injection. You enter the collateral with a soft wire. So any workhorse wire, you can use a Sian wire or a BMW wire with a short tip bend with a Corsair or Corwell catheter. You can enter the collateral. That's the first point. You never use the workhorse CTO wire in the beginning, then you lose the tip. The strength of the wire or the success of the wire depends on the tip curve. That is most important. So if you lose that, you have to use another wire. The cost effectiveness will go away. So important thing is look for the stenosis and whether going for the struts or to the normal vessel, and acute bend you make enter the collateral, septal collateral. Then you can go to the super selective injection for the sub injection in two views, in a cranial view and a caudal view. This is where you have to see the septal collaterals. Then if you find any resistance, or if you blood is not coming freely from the support catheter, Corwell or anything, don't inject. There you will find a nasty extravasation. But also I will tell that if you have any extravasation, don't get panicky about that. In the beginning, we used to feel that no, nothing will happen. Usually most of these extravasations disappear unless it's a true and true perforation and big hematoma. Most of things, as your procedure continues, it will disappear. So not to get worried about that. And the epicardial collateral is you see, it's a corkscrew type of epicardial collaterals. Usually what see from the circumflex, mostly what we attend to the RCA. This is the most common collateral what we use joining either PLV branch or PD branch. And corkscrew collaterals, whenever you cross, you have to use mostly something like a soft hydrophilic catheters like a hydro Corwell or fine cross, not the tough Corsair. And there is a wires also, very soft hydrophilic wires like CO03, which is an excellent wire to cross the epicardial collateral. Those wires should be used. And the most important thing what you study is the exit from the donor artery. It is the stent stats. You have to dilate the stats. If it is branching immediately, again your success rate comes. You have to be very careful. And that's a straight landing coming collateral is very easy to handle. Then the connection size. The last one is a good size. Naturally, anybody will prefer a good size collateral. Next is tortuosity. As I said, tortuosity, you have to be careful. In this type of collaterals, usually you prefer something like a cyan black wire, which has got the strength, which has got the flexibility and the strength to take the devices also. And such a cyan black is a good wire with a not a very heavy load wire, 0.7 like that. It's not a heavy load wire. So these wires are important. With the CO03 or the cyan black are useful for this tortuous type of vessels. Then at the end recipient artery, when you don't have a space between the bifurcation or the distal cap and the collateral joining exit point, there is the trouble starts. Negotiating the support catheter is always a problem. So that you should have a sufficient distance between the recipient, the exit point and the distal cap. This is very important. And you have to make a wire little tip bend 1 millimeter. And sometimes you have to make double bend whenever you're crossing the septal collateral. This can be fashioned easily with your needle, and see the tip is not damaged, very important. Then this is the way you enter the struts. We can widen the struts when any difficulty is there. So next step after crossing is the failure to cross with a microcatheter. Most of the time, this is the step where we find why this crossing is easy sometimes. Even without your knowledge, these hydrophilic wires will cross the collateral, enter to the distal cap. But when you find difficulty in crossing a microcatheter, see at the guiding catheter. The guiding catheter backup is not good. Go back to your LAO view or any other view you are accustomed to, engage the guide deep. Then guide extension is very useful sometimes, and a balloon anchoring technique. Sometimes you have to change the microcatheter. Sometimes I changed to Corsair Pro. Corsair Pro has got a character where the stiffness difference between the shaft and the distal is not too much. So the Corsair Pro can negotiate the touch this easily than the Corsair Pro. So sometimes you have to go fine cross. When you don't cross, the fine cross may cross. So I've seen many workshops, the fine cross do wonder job when other catheters. So these are all techniques, and choose other new collateral if you find really difficult. You have to enter, come out and re-enter. So the microcatheter crossing can be managed by this. And so this, like this is the way the Corsair is there. We entered with a workhorse wire. Then we entered with a cyan blue is one wire which can enter the collateral. Then here you see we have given a selective injection, and see how the collateral is joining, the distal segment. You see nicely to join very long. Then you have to negotiate the wire along with the microcatheter. This is important, not to cause any damage, and wire can enter the lumen correctly when the Corsair also accompanies along with the wire. This is important. You have to go in a caudal and cranial views, both views, and go to the distal cap like this. Then there's a difficulty in negotiating the Corsair here. You see that the curve, there is a difficulty in negotiating the Corsair. So next step, what we do is we can put the backup of the guiding catheter, or we can change to Corsair to fine cross or a Corsair Pro. That's the way, or even change the collateral. So change of collateral. Sometimes we have to change. In this case, I have to change the collateral to another collateral. Then only I could negotiate this particular curve and finish up the case. So microcatheter went to the distal cap. So what to do? We reach the distal cap, and then it's the CTO crossing. When you want to cross the CTO crossing, there are many things what we do. It is a simple wire cross. 30% of the cases you may cross. It's a recent occlusion or not much hard fibrotic calcific lesion. Sometimes you may cross the CTO very easily. Remaining cases we have to do reverse cut. So this reverse cut is very important. The reverse cut means, you see, there should be overlap of the two wires antegrade. That means antegrade preparation is a must in a retrograde PCI. So whatever way you pass the antegrade wire, you feel it is a subintimal, don't worry. You pass the antegrade wire into the architecture of the vessel. In this case, I have trouble in passing the antegrade wire. I took a balloon catheter anchoring and the antegrade wire with a microcatheter entered. Then the retrograde wire overlap is there. The retrograde microcatheter also should go near to that. With the overlap, there's a low profile. Usually we try with a 2 millimeter balloon, then we go up to 2.5. In RCA, sometimes we go for a 3 millimeter balloon also. How much balloon to be added is to be determined sometimes by IVUS for the reverse cut. With the overlap, when the balloon is inflated, after the balloon, when it's deflating, you pass the wire, retrograde wire, so that both are into the same subintimal space. Then the retrograde wire will enter into the proximal lumen. This is the reverse cut. What we do, there are different types of reverse cuts. What we do is a conventional reverse cut, what I just explained you. But sometimes you need not entirely cross the retrograde wire up to the entire CTO segment. What we do is in cases where we pass the antegrade wire to the near to the distal cap, And there we dilate with a balloon in the subinterval. Mostly it is in the subinterval space. One wire I explained you is a Gaia 2. I like this wire, and most of the cases success reaches with Gaia 2. It is not that very high penetrating Gaia 3. It's not like that, but it's 1-to-1 torque makes the Gaia is the best wire in these cases. So it target the inflated balloon from the distal cap in short distance. So then it will enter the subintimal space proximally into the. So this is called a directed reverse cut or a contemporary reverse cut. Sometimes we may not do the reverse cut in the CTO segment. We have to do something beyond the CTO segment. This is called the extended reverse cut. So there are these types of, and sometimes we use a stent assisted. We can use a stent at the proximal end or a guideliner, which I will show. So a stent or the guideliner assisted reverse cut will be there. So there are different methods of reverse cut. So what we have to see is that I explained you already within the CTO segment. What we do beyond the CTO segment is the extended reverse cut. Sometimes we find very long CTO. When you find a very long CTO, either antegrade or retrograde, the better way is doing is knuckle. Knuckle, we feel no, it is a safer thing if you don't form a too much loop on the knuckle. If you form a very big knuckle more than the vessel, then the problem comes because subintimal space gets expanded and the true lumen closes. But if appropriately done with a small knuckle with a filter XT like wire or a cyan black like wire, these are the very good. Now the Gladius wire also is there, mango, that Gladius mango wire also very good wire. These wires can form a knuckle, and the space, limited space, you can with the IVUS you can determine how much knuckle you want to make, and then the long CTOs, either antegrade, retrograde. This is one of the best technique you have to do. Ultimately, finally, when you want to have success, there is no other way. Knuckle is one technique. So now this is the IVUS. Yes, most of the cases we use in all complex CTO, PCI, I use IVUS. Unless a very simple wire cross and all those things. Particularly reverse cut and retrograde PCI, why you need? Because once your retrograde wire enters the false lumen, like I am doing RCA PCI, CTO, PCI, I am coming from the LAD end, crossing the septal collateral to the PD end, middle of the RCA. Then I enter the true lumen in the proximal RCA, I am safe. If I enter the subintimal space and to the ostial RCA, then there's a dissection, I put a stent, everything goes waste, and it's a catastrophe. So before entering the ostium, we have to see in the middle of the lesion, at least we see the IVUS, what is the wire position of the antegrade and retrograde wires. So in this, there are 4 positions. If you see the intimal space and subintimal space, depending upon the antegrade and the retrograde wire. Whenever the retrograde wire in the intima and antegrade in the subintima, that's a very difficult subset to do. Most of the cases we do with higher size balloon dilatations and making them into one space. That's a simple logic what we use in this. But when this particular subset, you used to use more bigger balloons and the perforation risk is there. That's why whenever you do post-stent dilatation in these subintimal spaces, we have to be careful. Don't go to very high pressures after stenting also. Like next is the externalization. When you draw the externalization, sometimes it's very easy to get into the guiding catheter. If you good alignment with the Amplas catheter like the RCA or a EBU catheter for the left, it's very easy to wire cross. Usually, whenever you're entering the ostia of the lesions, don't go for stiffer wires at the bends. This is one thing you have to de-escalate the wire. Very important. We have entered with the Gaia 3, punctured the proximal, distal proximal cap in a retrograde PCA of the RCA. Then at the RCA proximal bend, you have to come back to something like a cyan black or a cyan blue or something like a soft wires, then cross the bend. It's very important. Otherwise, you're likely to perforate at the bends or enter false lumens. So this is the externalization direct. If you cannot enter, very important nowadays, very easy is guideliner or stent assisted. We use a guideliner or a Gadgilla. And if you're very difficult to enter, and is entered the ostia and make the wire into the more spacious into the subclavian area territory, the very spacious area where you can snare it. That is also very important. So this guideline, what is the mode, how it's safe is that like a left main, you want to enter safely. You could take the LED mid CTO, the guideliner up to the CTO segment, then put the wire, retrograde wire into it. So your wire will never enter the left main in the false plane. This is the dictum that guideliner usage is more now for a safer externalization. And you see, like these cases, we have a simple wire cross in this case. It's a easy wire cross, anchor balloon, and then we cross it simple. You can see that a guideliner. This is a guideliner assisted. You mostly 5.5 or 6 French. When you use a 7 French, it's easy to enter the guideliner. And now there is a trapping balloon is there, but you got a trap liner also. In Europe, they use along with the trapping balloon also. Very easy to do this procedure. And very important thing is the guiding catheters positions when you do externalization is very important. Dampening of the catheters, how to avoid the sucking of the catheters and dissections of the donor artery, you have to take care. Then this is what I told. When you are snaring it, sometimes very difficult, like the osteal lesions, we just push the wire and the support catheter into the aorta, and you have to snare it out, either you do with the Ampla snare or any other snare, EV3 snare, or indigenous made snare in our cat lab. Sometimes you can make. So these things, when you are pulling that, you have to take care of the guiding catheters. Very important, disengage the guiding system from the left system and are doing right one, because the dissections unnoticed can cause problem after shifting the patient. So this is like in a difficult cases when simple wire cross is not there or guideliner you cannot do, then you have to do a snaring like this. And broad space wherever you find in the aorta, you can snare it with the guiding catheter and get the guiding catheter to the right coronary artery. That's what we have done in this case carefully and without losing the wire. So there are dedicated snares or you can make it your own snares also. So most important thing is withdrawal of the equipment. The collateral damage comes at two situations. One is wire cross. Wire cross can produce damage to the collateral, and across along with the wire, when you push the guiding and the support catheter for CR or Corwell, you can damage. And third most important thing is withdrawal. Whenever you withdraw the wire, you have to withdraw across the collateral along with the support catheter, for CR or Corwell or wire cross. Never pull out the wire without the support catheter. This is very important, and there should not be any tension on the loops when you do these procedures. So withdrawal of the equipment is one time the collateral damage can come. So always at the end of the procedure, after externalizing, you do the and follow up with the fluoroscopic externalization, getting into the other groin system. Then you get into the Y connector system with a needle. After that, very important thing, finishing the stenting and ballooning on the antegrade wire, checking for the collateral injury, because where wire is across the collateral only, you should do this and never pull out anything without checking this. And sometimes we have to check on both antegrade side and the retrograde. There may be sometimes leaks which are not seen from one side, but in epicardial collateral, you have to close the epicardial injury from both sides. That's why two microcatheters we keep, the retrograde and antegrade, and sometimes inject. This also we do to find out the collateral injury. Then stenting as usual after finishing this, and we'll go for the what the hardware important to So you don't know every CTO PCI needs all these sheets, guiding catheters. I did not explain this one. But the newer ones, previously used to do with Miracle wires. Now the Gaia wires, Gaia Next wires have taken. So for the retrograde PCI, particularly, we know this wire very important in the SO03 wire and the wire RG3 and the cyan blue, cyan black. These are the wires very important for a retrograde PCI. Once you reach the digital cap, you need the Gaia wires, Gaia series, Gaia 2 and Gaia 3. Because to save money, I directly use the Gaia 2 and the Gaia 3. Next is very difficult puncture, we go for the Conquest Pro. For the knuckle, as I explained, Fielder XT and the Gladius wire, then the cyan black wire. So these are the equipment for the retrograde PCA out of all these things. Rest of the balloons, low profile balloons and catheters are same as the antegrade or retrograde. The sheaths and guiding catheters, mostly we don't do a retrograde PCI with a radial, two radial and all. I'm not doing that because it's cumbersome. And but radial procedures sometimes you can do with the sheathless catheters. Then CTO guide wires. Very important. What you see in any wire is the silicon coating and the slip cord coating and the hydrophilic coating and polymer jacket. There are three types of these things. One is for the lubricity and tactile feeling and the slippery feel that is important, trackability. Another is the support. Support of this thing is important. So nowadays the Miracle series wires usage is very less in CTO PCI. As still we use the Miracle 6 sometimes or Miracle 3 when Gaia wires are not available. We use for the cap, digital cap puncture and sometimes the proximal cap puncture, but their usage has come down after the, but this wire, yes, if you have a problem, even with the Gaia 3 wire, this wire is 9 grams and 12 grams, Conquest Pro tip with a radio opacity of 20 centimeters is this tapered tip 9 grams, 12 grams or 20 grams. Sometimes we use rarely 20 grams. This way in calcium things is very important. Remember that never push this wire for long distance. If it dissects, it can create a very bad false lumen and the two lumen can close. So these are most important thing is the cyan group of wires. For the retrograde PCI, the tip load is very less in these wires. And there's a composite core construction at the tip where the excellent durability of the tip, torque performance, very safe wires. So we use, when we enter the collateral, the cyan blue wire, and then you can exchange if the tortuosity is there, CO03 or extreme tortuosity and need a lot of support also means cyan black. Only these wires differ at the tip load and slip coating. These things they differ, but the way the Fielder XTR, cyan group wires are almost one and the same. So cyan black is a very good wire for a, this wire is useful for a knuckle wire, and it can carry the devices more efficiently than the other two wires. That's the advantage of this here. But in my practice, I have noticed cyan black can cause more perforations or trauma to the collateral than the other cyan blue or the CO0. If you want a safer wire, CO03 is the safer wire. Now the Fielder group. So the polymer jacket guided wires are useful when there is a channel in antegrade. Everybody knows that. But the Fielder XT wire can be useful to form a knuckle also. So in a retrograde PCI, usually the Fielder choice is not much when you cross the collateral. Only Fielder XTR when there are invisible collateral. This is one wire we do for surfing purpose. Most of the European operators use Fielder XTR for surfing. So then this wire XTA is not that useful in the retrograde PCI when you cross the collateral land because the tip penetrating power is more than the Fielder XTR. Even though it finds a channel, it's not the ideal wire for this. As I explained, Fielder XTR is useful for both antegrade procedures and the retrograde procedures. Very safe wire and a traumatic wire. when you enter the channel and you can exchange to a escalation of the wire, this wire is really excellent wire, a safe wire. You know the Gaia family. The Gaia family's story success the microcone tip and one-to-one torque. This is the advantage of the Gaia wire. But Gaia 2 wire directly you can take most of the cases to save your money. And as you know, the 1.5 and the 1.7 grams and 3.5, 4 grams power is there. And in Gaia next series, when you go for the Gaia next series, what is the advantage? The Gaia problem is that Gaia gets stuck in calcium. The tip gets stuck with the resistance, then it can break. So the fracture of the distal tip is one problem. If you find in a calcific lesions, you have to have very careful with a 3.5 Gaia 3 wire. So that's why the Gaia next has come. What is the difference is that the Gaia next has a extend coil. It's called the extend coil. This extend coil will protect it from sticking to a calcium fibrotic plaque, and breakage of the coil and shaft is prevented by this. So this Gaia Next is now available. It has power of 2, 4, and 6. Gaia 1, 2, next 1, next 2, next 3. So this is one wire I always like. This is a fantastic wire. When you find very difficult in a CTO PC, every wire has failed. In my practice, I use the ultimate brass. It's a hydrophilic. It's like a miracle power with miracle 3 with a hydrophilic coating. So this wire is very useful for an anti-grade puncture or a distal puncture of the distal cave from a retrograde PCI. It's a very visible radio opaque nice wire. Usually for sometimes for a re-entry also we can use this wire ultimate brass. And most important wire in the retrograde PCI is the RG3 wire. So most important is the 330 centimeters long wire for externalization. It's mostly hydrophilic and a very safe wire, but a very flimsy wire. You have to be very careful when you thread the devices on this wire after externalization, because it's so flimsy that you can break the wire. You can, if you break the wire again, the entire maintaining the loop is very, very difficult. So distal 3 centimeters the radio opaque in this wire, and without RG3, I think we cannot attempt the retrograde PCA at present. The Fielder 300 is also available, but it's more comfortable atraumatic wire. And as I said, this is the 03 wire. This is a fantastic wire. Whenever you want to form a retrograde PCI, this tip load is so low, and it's a spring coil, 19 centimeters, 3 centimeters radio opaque. It's very important. There are two pre-shaped wires. One is the Gaia and other is the CO03. The pre-shaped wire. It's available. 190 usually we use. It's a very safe wire. You want to cause epicardial, use a Carvel and CO, your success rate is very high. So like this, we tried here a collateral crossing with a Corsair, in this case from the left circumflex for a RCA CTO. How many loops he formed nicely the microcatheter process with a CO03 wire. And here after crossing, how to externalize into the guiding catheter, because of how it is getting externalized. After that, the externalization has been done. The vessel has been stented. So this is Gaia Next. As I explained, the Gaia Next is for the better penetration and without breaking of the wire. That's the advantage. Fracture of the wire is not there. Literally safer than the Gaia wire. So I explained. Next important thing is the microcatheters. We got many microcatheters, but most important thing we have the fine cross catheter, Corsair, Corvel, and the Corsair Pro. Now there's another called Corsair Pro XS. These are the catheters. What there are many wires, double lumen catheters, Crusade, Sasuke. All these micro catheters are there, but commonly used are the Corsair, Corvel, and Fine Cross and Corsair Pro. So, you know, I need not explain the Corsair much about this. And Corsair, oh, this is very important as I shown in those last case. The Corsair Pro has got the stiffness difference between the shaft and distal end is not much. That's why it's a tapered soft tip can cross the very tortuous things where not negotiable curves you can manage with this catheter. That's the advantage of this. Now it is available in India. So how we cross the partial septal collateral? This we have shown how to, you see here, we are crossing the collateral along, you have to be very careful along with the wire, you have to cross it. I think these are fixed pictures. Then after crossing, in this particular, I have placed the anti-grade wire also in one of the branch, then externalized, and this type of loops are common ballooning and stenting. Next. So this is the epicardial collateral, which I demonstrated last. Again, the same thing has come, I think. For anything, antegrade bed preparation is very important. You see the retrograde catheter Corsair along with the wire is there, but antegrade preparation for a reverse cart is a must. Antegrade preparation can be done with a Fielder XTR, or you can do with any other wire or a Gaia wire. This is one fantastic catheter, Carvel catheter. The advantage is a very slippery catheter. Tip is around at the most last tip is 1.4 inch. And that's the advantage of this is before you see sometimes it's so slippery it will cross and you have to be careful. It is not that radio opaque as the Corsair. So when your fluoroscopy is not good, then you may not find the catheter as seen in the Corsair. But for epicardial collateral, particularly Corvel catheter is a very good. It is available both in 135 and 175. Now, you see retrograde PCI for a, this is only moving. So this is the RC again, RCA CTO, and this is the Corvel catheter managing and very safe catheter. And this is a direct wire cross, I think in this case, not much trouble in this one. Now we have the balloons dilatation. The nano balloon, as you know, is a very low profile. You can and after dilatation, you can use. And now the rapid balloons have come. Customized rapid balloons. Usually 7 inch we put 2.5 NC balloons, but this balloon can be used in 6 inch, 7 inch, 8 inch, and at low pressure, usually go to 14 atmospheres in routine or NC balloons, but at low pressure it can maintain. So the withdrawal of the microcatheter, introducing the microcatheter, these are must in a retrograde PCI. Then I'll show some cases to you as Dr. Smith has told. I will go for some cases which I've done in my lab or done it outside centers. So this is one case why I said the retrograde PCI we should know as a to be a complete CTO operator is this a 40 years gentleman, hypertensive and history of smoking, had angina, and he had a post PCI to a lady and some LV dysfunction is there. Here the RC has long tandem mid-segment CTO. If you closely watch in this dual injection, as I said, RC has a very bad long segment and this thing. So we have the option of the ADR also in this case. So the Corsair has been advanced to the CTO segment with a dedicated CTO wire. Then the Fielder XT in the subintima. As you see, the Fielder XT is the subintima. Usually you try for a parallel wire. As a routine process, try for a parallel wire. Don't try too much for the parallel wire because the space will expand. It's very difficult. So just you can have a trial with a simple 1 or 2 times with a more stiffer wire. And then it is the wire changed to a concussed wire. So we have planned for a ADR in this case once you are in the subintimal space. So the crossbus is in the subintima. Now it is advanced to the distal RCA in the subintima, the crossbus. But what happened at the guiding catheter, if you see, it's not aligned properly. That's why we had a kink in the RCA, the guiding catheter. So we are not able to push the stingray balloon very freely. So unable to stingray wire, unable to negotiate at the guide tip. That's why we got into some trouble. Then this is the first case in India we have done that the day the cross bus case. I remember the date somewhere December 9th, somewhere long years back. Then what happened? This balloon has ruptured actually. There's a lot of contrast staining. So if you see, there's a staining, subintimal staining due to contrast leak. The concussed wire is still in the subintima. Now it's very difficult to go antegrade, impossible. So the only option, if you know about we tried the cross into the subintima, it only expands the subintimal hematoma. So it's not good. So before checking that, we should have a good collaterals in any case of doing it. That's why if you don't see a retrograde collateral very good, your PCA, CTO PCA is unsafe. So I had this distal septal collateral entry with a CN, and yes, there is a tip injection showed myocardial staining, but don't get worried or panicky by these stainings. They usually disappear. So just leave that collateral there, try for another one. I had a tip injection, good collateral to the PD, and proximal septal collateral entry has been done. There's a good connection proximal septal collaterals. So successful crossing of the collateral into the distal RCA has been done. After that, the Corsair has been advanced to the mid segment of the RCA. And as I said, the ultimate Bros wire I used in this case in mid RCA segment to the RCA segment. Now there's an antegrade guy too. Always there should be antegrade preparation as I told. So we have done a reverse cut at a 2.5 millimeter balloon. A reverse cut has been done in the CTO segment. And I took a Gadgilla assisted reverse cut. Now the Gadgilla really helped me in this case to externalize the wire. So after that is a routine process that you dilate and do a stenting mid segment or RC and the proximal. And this is the way we finish the case. As there is a diffuse disease and there's some hematoma still remaining. So one way of doing is a cutting balloon dilatation or just to another stenting, or you can aspirate the hematoma with a fine cross catheter. So finally, patient is safe and comfortable. Now we finished this procedure, decompressing the hematoma. This is the final result of this patient. Doing follow-up good only. So this is this way retrograde PCA saves you bail out the procedure. So I will show another case. So when I'm doing one, I thought I'm doing something innovative in a case when I'm doing in Bangalore in hospital Philomena, and I've done in so we have done in Bangalore one workshop. I thought I am doing first time this in, then I went to the literature, already people have done it. But fortunately, it happened that I have done almost around 14 cases for CTO PCA by this technique. It's a very safe technique. You find a very difficult CTO PCA antegrade or retrograde. This Rendova technique, basically you have to have both microcatheters in the guiding catheter close to post and cross the wire with this. This is the basic retrograde microcatheter antegrade guide wire and crossing in the guiding catheter. That's the Rendova technique. But yes, what we have done in the CTO segment, this is also a Rendova technique only. But what wire I used in on my cases is the Gaia wire. But you can use any wire if you're good enough to pass into the other microcatheter, like a cyan blue we have done many times. And but Gaia 2 has got one-to-one manipulation. It's easy to pass in a well-profiled view and good alignment of the both catheters. You can cross it. This technique is very useful in a very difficult CTO PCI. Always you will have success. So the female came with the antival MI, stented LED somewhere. She had a very RCA anomalous high origin, proximal CTO, so just CTO score of 2. If you see, this is a very anomalous, difficult engaging RCA. There's a diffuse disease, mid segment also tight. There are collaterals coming for the PLV particularly, and there's another tight lesion in the mid segment. So this PCI, because already tried, we have tried a always try antigrade. I tried antigrade, but that found to be in the subintimal space. So I have kept this wire of I think a cyan blue to enter the collateral. As I said, with the microcatheter, always make the bed preparation. So the my Gaia wire is in the false lumen in the antigrade preparation. If you closely watch, so if I push more at this stage, it will create big intimal subintimal space. So then I have gone with a different wires, but all are in the false lumen. So a selective injection I have given with a Corsair 150 and entered the collateral nicely like this. Along with the Corsair, you can see the wire entered into the collateral and distal RCA nicely. It's not a big job. So because the collateral is good enough, you can give a selective injection with the retrograde microcatheter also. Find out what is the segment of you have to cross, and you got any anchoring. There's a branch you can always utilize for anchoring also. Then the antigrade, you see the fine cross with the Amplas guiding catheter. It's poor support. That's why you use two catheters there. It's a difficult because anomalous CTO PCI is always a difficult task. So I tried a rotational view. I don't have IVUS in this particular center. When I'm doing this, I don't have IVUS. So I use a rotational, see whether my wires are in the correct plane or not. Then I tried the Godzilla supported reverse cut. Yes, but still I failed to actionalize the wire. You see, I failed to retrograde wire to enter the Godzilla, whatever I tried. So this is a very important key step. Now I used an antigrade cyan at this stage to the retrograde course. If you closely observe, I passed a cyan wire from the antigrade guide support catheter to the retrograde Corsair nicely. And this is the Renduva technique, very useful. Then I can complete the probe and do all the things. Rest of things are same for any PCA. This is the this is the final result. This is the final result of the RCA done in this. So check for the collateral damage. As I said, always look for collateral damage, no collateral damage. And so anomalous RCA with star stump is a difficult subset. Godzilla guideline as supposes will provide extra support. When reverse cut fails, this Renduva technique is an alternative with composite wires like cyan, or you can do it the Gaia wires, and rotational angio sometimes is useful. So this is another case where we can, then we go for the next case. So we talk about retrograde PCI with a contralateral collateral, but as many times we see there is no good retrograde collateral, and particularly if it's the dominant circumflex LAD, it's a very difficult task, and surgery is not a bad option in these cases. But if you still want to do a CTO PCI in these cases, then you have to use the ipsilateral collaterals. So this is, I've done around 2 cases only in my career, this ping pong technique. This last recently done this case is around 62 years male with old antrum by class 2 angina, and he had mild LV dysfunction. He had a patent stent in the OM, but a LAD has a long segment CTO with a good bridging septal collateral. If you see this, there's no collateral from the RCA much in this case. This collateral mainly, if you see the cranial view, the LAD has got a very good septal collateral, long segment CTO in the LAD. Definitely it's a difficult task for such a long segment CTO to cross. But what attracted me is the septal collateral size and about the tortuosity of the septal collateral. I've seen in different views, which I did not project here. Went around number of times in the collateral. Now, this is a 7-French bifemoral system. The Carvel 150, as I said, is a very good catheter, 03 wire. These are two things we should have in this type of case. So slowly, I crossed along with the catheter to the distal cap of the LAD CTO. After that, I have to exchange this wire to a penetrating wire like a Gaia 2. I prefer always. In both caudal and cranial use, you have to see how you puncture the distal and the proximal cap. So when you see in two oblique views, the puncture, as my wire is in the pulse lumen in the first one, but the advantage is that I use the Gaia 3, then extend to Gaia 3 because the cap is very hard. So I change to Gaia 3 and the 1-to-1 torque, I can enter the proximal cap. Then very important thing, I should not enter the left main with this. So what I have done, I have put another guiding catheter with another wire. This is the ping pong technique where you pass the IVAS and check the position. If you see both wires are in the same lumen, this is very, very important before externalizing the wire. So then I externalize the wire, Gaia and Carvel. Ideally, I should change to another softer wire for externalizing, as I explained. So I exchange it to the second guiding catheter. And here, very careful, you have to externalize with the RG3. This is very important. When you withdraw the catheters, see that there is no tension on the loop, whatever created in the, and slowly see in the fluoroscope, the externalization also. This is very important. No tension on the loop in the coronary septal collateral. Then you can do the POBA with the low profile balloon. Here, very important. Now I have to enter the distal LAD. You see, my wire is the RG3 is across the collateral and the segment of the CTO, not in the distal LAD. So then I have to use a double lumen catheter. Here, the double lumen catheter role in the retrograde PCI comes. One is entering the septal collateral, entering like this distal LAD. Now I use the double lumen Courcette catheter to enter the distal LAD. So nicely documented in the second this thing, I entered the distal LAD like this. Then the procedure, as you see, overlapping DES has been done in this case, and ballooning and IVAS check also nicely done. This is the LAD nicely recognized and patient doing well. And very important, I should check for any collateral damage. This is again very important. So this type of retrograde PCI also we happen to do. And yes, we do most often with success, but sometimes we fail and have problems also. It's not that we do everything without problems, but we should be able to manage the problems as far as possible. The most common thing is the septal injury, channel injury. Epicardial injury to manage is very difficult. You have to manage coiling from both ends, the antegrade and retrograde. Septal channel injury is little safe and better, easy to manage, not uncommon, but don't get by the just extravasation and some staining. These are very common. Don't get. We have to have echo also on the bedside whenever doing a complex CTO. So I'm not talking about the coronary perforations and all. Collateral vessel perforations, septal or epicardial. So these things happen, as I said, the septal injury happens during wire passing. Second thing is when the microcatheter negotiating along with the wire. Third thing, when you are withdrawing, when you are injecting some contrast or anything, when there is a dampening, there is a blood flow is not coming into the microcatheter. And the last one is when you withdraw the microcatheter, that time also these things can happen. So we should be prepared to manage this by having a microcatheters. You can manage with a fine course microcatheter 1.8 French or a 2.6 French, or sometimes you can have a Cook catheter 4 French catheters. And there are many things what we do with particles. You can inject, never inject glue, but the safer one you should have coils. This is a very safe thing. Last go to the second. So you see the still whatever the thing, the channel injury is very important. In this study from Japan, this channel injury is still 9.6% channel injury is a minor or major. This channel injury should be managed, because don't leave that septal injury swelling appearing, septal swelling and all like that. You solve it on the table. If it appears to be major, patient having a pain or patient having some ST changes or heart block or anything, don't waste your time. Just close it the coil. This is very important. Don't wait for the next day, again taking back and doing it. So this is the actually the septal channel and epicardial channel to I have documented how to cross and all. In this case, when I'm doing RCA PCI, you see there's osteal lesion, there's RCA distal CTO. I'm doing with a good collateral. Actually, it's a nice first septal number of branching, joining the PDA. I'm comfortable in doing a retrograde PCA. In this case, a retry case with a long segment, bad CTO. So when I'm doing this, Carvel 150 with CO03 wire, there's not much problem in negotiating the bend, but there's an issue when I'm negotiating the Carvel 150. So next thing, I finished externalization with ASEAN doing the RG3 wire, and RG3 removal along with Carvel also done. I think this is the step very important. Exactly when this injury happened, we don't know. So antegradally, the procedure has been almost completed. So nice result. But you see, when I inject for the collateral, this thing, there the first, this thing is a big hematoma is there. It's not subsiding, and when you observe on the table, don't go on injecting. This is one thing very important. You can, the plain fluoro, the staining can be seen, and so there's a progressively increasing septal hematoma. After 10 minutes, again, I've seen with a very 0.5 cc. So it's a progressively increasing hematoma, patient having chest pain. And I've kept a balloon occlusion with 1.5 millimeter. Still, there is a persistent leak. So you can reverse the heparinization. You can do balloon dilatation. These are all simple techniques. Watch the echo, watch the hemodynamics. Don't be in a hurry to do. But I tried here a Cook's catheter that time available EV3. This is a 2 millimeter coil Cook's catheter microcatheter. We deployed this into that. Important thing is you have to go very selective into the channel which perforated. This is also very important. Still, there is a persistent leak, and patient now started having a rhythm disturbance. He's in AF for some time, he's in VT in some time, he's not comfortable. So you can see this. This had EF, AF, and LC stand VT also. These things happen if there's a big hematoma. So finally, I have to close with the Hilal. So keep Hilal coils. They are very comfortable, user friendly. A 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter coils. You can drop with any micro catheter. So very easy to drop it. Very important thing. What I dropped it not in the selective down channel. So this patient after deploying is okay, but he had a transient complete heart block and it needed TPI support for some time. So after 6 hours, he returned to the sinus rhythm and we removed the TPI and he had a good result in the RCA and is doing good only. So this is the final result on the RCA. So this is very important. You should have coils when you do this to get PCA. So I think thank you for this opportunity. Sometimes these hematomas appear, you have to follow the echo. You see the MRI also shows the septal hematomas like this, very big ones. They take a lot of time. It causes uneasiness for the patient, some hypotension, not great things, but some people fenestrate this hematoma by wiring into the ventricle to leak it into the ventricle. This is one case where we had a hematoma. You see the first time when you produce on the table, after 6 weeks, I have done the echo for the same patient. It nicely healed. So it needs a lot of patience, conservative management, mostly when there's no acute crisis on the table. So sometimes it leaks into the cavity, into a cavity. It is really safe when it is into the cavity. So thank you for that opportunity, Dr. Smith, Dr. Miraji Rao, and PGI, my all colleagues. So any queries, anything discussion sake, please.
I think, sir, everyone is spellbound. So we had Dr. Nikhil commenting, and that is why I also thought that it's like, Gita with all 18 chapters that has been delivered today.
Thank you.
One thing I have, sir, I use Gladius wire, but I don't find that it bends very easily. I find it's rather, it's like a sword that it just like a missile it goes, and but it's a wonderful wire. But
I only used only recently in somewhere in coastal area, 2 hospitals I used. It's a user friendly wire and not much experience, but I've done maybe 4 or 5 cases only with that. But all the cases I'm successful with that wire.
Well, I feel that, sir, for knuckle, probably it may not be
not the best choice for knuckle.
Because it doesn't
Fielder
bend.
XT and CN black are the
for a straightway penetration. It's a
yes, you are correct. You are correct.
That is where we have used, sir. So we are little short on time, so I don't think there are many questions. We can call it evening and go for the dinner, sir.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good night, sir. Then.
Night.
Good night. Wonderful it is.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Dr. Miraji is my guru and is encouraging me for many years now. So always when I take a complex CTO PCI, I always feel his wishes and I get success.
Yeah. Next month, sir, we'll be having Dr. Ajay Behel speaking on HOCF.
Very nice.
That would be another master class that is also again. So good night, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good night. Bye.